Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for being with me for today's devotion. I hope you had a great weekend and that you were in church worshiping Jesus Sunday. Hey, before you get to Exodus 19 for our devotion today, I just want to remind everybody that this coming Saturday morning is our women's event here at First Baptist from 9 to 11 a.m. Pray like this, 2-hour time for our women to get together and be encouraged, fellowship. And if you've got your tickets, please show up. That's this Saturday, 9 to 11. All right, we are in Exodus chapter 19 today, and this is Moses' first time climbing back up Mount Sinai since he encountered God there at the burning bush. And then, God sent him to Egypt to deliver the Hebrew slaves. He's brought them back to Mount Sinai and Mount Horeb, and now he's going back up on the mountain to meet with God up there, excuse me, for the first time since that burning bush experience. Now, over the next several chapters, Moses is up and down the mountain while they are camped at the foot of the mountain. How many times did he go up on the mountain? Nobody knows for certain. I think, as I read the text, probably 7. Some think 8 or more. It's not always clear when he's going up and coming back down, but I think at a minimum of 7 times Moses was up and down the mountain over the next several chapters. Now, devotionally, what spoke to me in this chapter is, Moses had all of these very powerful, dramatic encounters with God on the mountain and other places, but so did the people. Because the second half of this chapter is about them gathering at the foot of the mountain after having consecrated themselves, and God comes down and overshadows the mountain with fire and smoke, and the mountain shakes, and there's thunder, and God is speaking. So they had this very dramatic encounter with God themselves. So not just Moses, but here the whole Hebrew people. I want you to look at what he says in verses 17 and following. It says, "And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now, Mount Sinai was all in smoke because the Lord descended upon it in fire. And its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked violently. When the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him with thunder. The Lord came down on Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up." So Moses goes up for a brief visit, comes down to end, and then chapter 20, which we'll talk about tomorrow, continues this same day experience of the people at the base of the mountain and God covering it with smoke and fire and thunder and quaking and so on and speaking. So the people have this incredible, dramatic experience with God. What a day. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine being there, seeing that, hearing that, experiencing that? Wow. I've had some incredible, powerful, emotional experiences with the Lord over the years in my life, in my walk with Jesus. Don't think I've ever had anything quite like this, but I've had some very special, powerful moments. Now, what speaks to me about this whole encounter in verses 10 and 11 as they are getting ready for this day when God covers the mountain and meets with the people of Israel. Look at verse 10. It says, "And the Lord," and in my Bible it's all capital letters, and some of you will remember from my sermon on Yahweh a few weeks ago that this is where God's personal name, Yahweh, is used. So Yahweh, God's personal name, he gave Moses at the burning bush. Also said to Moses, "Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their garments, and let them be ready. Let them be ready for the third day. For on the third day, the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people." And so what we read about later in the chapter when God came down and they had this encounter with God, here 3 days earlier, God says to Moses, the Lord, Yahweh says to Moses, go to the people, and they're to consecrate themselves. They're to consecrate themselves. That word literally means they are to sanctify themselves, set themselves apart, make themselves holy. He says in verse 15, they are to be over in 15, they are to be ready, to be ready. Even in verse 11, let them be ready. And in verse 15, he said to the people, be ready Moses goes and talks to the people, be ready, preparing for this day when they're going to encounter God. So consecrate themselves, they wash their clothes. Verses later in the chapter, they abstained from sexual relations and other things. They were to be focused entirely, be focused solely on getting ready for this dramatic encounter with God, for his presence. Now listen, I know the Bible teaches, and you know this, we are always in the presence of God. Never leaves us, never forsakes us. Wherever we are, God is there. But we do have those special moments, those special encounters with God, when we are more aware of his presence than we typically are, where he speaks to us in a profound or moving or powerful way. We have those special moments in the presence of God. And I think we need to have the practice of getting ourselves ready, of being prepared, of being consecrated for some special moments with God. Now, they can come at any time, but we have some special ones. Last Tuesday, I think it was, in these devotions, I talked about my study of the Jewish Sabbath and viewing the Sabbath as a queen approaching your home, coming for a visit, and they would get ready, and that we are to get ready for Sunday on Saturday. Prepare for the Lord's Day the day before. Stop waiting till Sunday morning to get ready for Sunday worship. Get ready on Saturday. Consecrate yourself. Consecrate yourself. Get ready. Be prepared. Don't wait until the moment of to start getting ready. It's too late. You should view Sunday as a special time of connecting with God, of worshiping him. That's also why I encourage you, if you got to go out late, do it on Friday night. Don't do it on Saturday night. Be ready for Sunday. Your quiet time, your devotional time, they have a place, or maybe a couple. I've got more than one place that those are special to me, and I spend time there with the Word and with prayer and with the Lord and with my journal. Prepare and have the stuff you need. I think as Americans, sometimes we are so used to just rush from one thing to the next thing that we don't appreciate or value enough the importance of getting ready for those sacred moments. And I want to encourage you to think through ways you can be better prepared for your quiet time, better prepared for the Lord's Day, so that on those days, those distractions are removed and you're better able to experience the holy presence of holy God. You may never stand at the foot of Mount Sinai like these Hebrews did, but you can have those special moments in the presence of Almighty God. So get ready. Get ready for them. That's the word for today. I'll see you tomorrow as we continue this story of them at the bottom of the mountain, looking at Exodus chapter 20 and the first mention of the Ten Commandments. God bless you, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.